Good evening, everyone. I'm Saoirse Ronan, and you're watching The Graham Norton Show.
Thank you. I've never heard applause like it. Everyone well? Everyone well? Yes. Because this week it was announced the Spice Girls are back. Yes, they are. Woo! Good luck with the ticket sales. Yeah, Victoria's already been practicing her singing at home. I wonder what requests the audience will be shouting at the first gig. I'd go with, "Stop right now. Thank you very much." Hey, now what else has been happening this week? Well, despite there being doubts over her leadership, Prime Minister Theresa May was out and about having fun. Here she is playing ball with a dog. Leave, is what everyone is telling her. Now, if Theresa were to quit, some Conservatives would like to see Jacob Rees-Mogg put his hat in the ring. Yeah, better there than on his head. Jacob Rees-Mogg, the man of the people. He wants to drag the Tory party kicking and screaming into the 18th century. Now, he doesn't have a job in the cabinet at the moment, but earlier in his career, he was the Minister for Silly Walks. Supporters claim Jacob embraces the Churchillian spirit, although it's not actually Churchill he reminds me of. No. Let's get some guests on! Later with the music from breakout star from The Greatest Showman, Keala Settle. Yeah. But first, this award-winning comedian is the new face of Saturday Night TV, hosting All Together Now on BBC One. Please welcome that man from the South, it's Rob Beckett! Duo are the stars of the groundbreaking sitcom that became a global hit. Now, after 11 years away, they've made a happy return to our screens. Please welcome Will and Grace themselves, McCormack and Debra Messing! It's like television has come to life. She's a Golden Globe winner and triple Oscar nominee, who's wowed us in films like Atonement, Brooklyn, and now the critically acclaimed Lady Bird. My Irish eyes are smiling. It's Saoirse Ronan! The bonding and this is good fake showbiz helloing. Yes.
Just pretending.
Yeah. We were making out backstage.
Yeah. But now, before we do another thing, huge congratulations on the Oscar nomination for Saoirse Ronan. Yeah. Mind you, it's crazy you're so young. This is the third one.
I know.
Oh, for the love of
another
God.
one.
I know, another one. You must be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
So good luck to you, but also good luck to the person reading out the nominations, because Americans do struggle with your name.
They can't get it.
Because, like, Eric, Deborah, did you practice before you came out here tonight?
Well, we actually had a kind of practice because you were going to be a joke in the opening scene on Will and Grace a few weeks ago.
God.
Yeah.
Stop.
Why wasn't I?
Well, it was because we never could get it right.
It was cut.
It was a joke about how hard it is to program your Netflix or whatever to try to. So she said, Grace said, what's the name of that actress that we like so much?
And we can't pronounce her name.
And I said, Saoirse Ronan. And so the whole thing was just her going S-E-R. And it went on for a minute and a half. You were almost...
I was almost on Will and Grace. Yeah, then I got caught. Yeah.
But now, when you hosted SNL, you did come up with a handy way to tell Americans how to say your name.
I did.
It's a little kind of dissy. Can you do it?
It goes, if I can remember it, It's Saoirse with an R, not Saoirse with an R, because Saoirse with an R goes or not R. It's sh instead of S, instead of E. Simple as can be, see Saoirse.
Very good.
You rehearse. So charming.
Am I the only one that's more confused?
For the whole week leading up to it, that was the only thing I kept thinking about because it's so difficult to say. It's supposed to make it easier, but it was just in my head. It's Saoirse with an R, not Saoirse with an R. So that's what I had in my head for like the whole week leading up to it.
Now, talking of awards, congratulations, you won the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Will and Grace has been nominated for something, like, is it 29 or 30 Golden Globes?
It's 29.
29.
Never won once. We are the biggest losers in the Golden. We actually have the record.
No one has lost more than us.
And we got to a point. It's true. Thank you. You guys.
That's right.
You guys. But we got to a point after about season 3 where the show was always nominated, all 4 of us nominated, lost. And one, I think it was when the show lost, or maybe Sean lost or something, Max, who created the show, suddenly went, yes!
Yay!
And we cheered, we toasted, and the cameras got confused and went to us, though we had just lost. And we started to do it every nomination, every loss, every
Every
year.
time anyone lost,
Yeah.
we would have another drink of champagne.
Confuse the hell out of them.
And they always put a big thing of chocolates on your plate, and so I would wait until I lost, and then I would open up the box, and I would eat the whole thing, and I'd be like, it doesn't matter now.
29 unused acceptance speeches.
Yeah. I was nominated this year, and I almost recycled the same thing, and I thought, like, you know, I can't reference Al Gore. That makes no sense. Yeah.
But now, I feel that maybe the Golden Globes realise you're not taking it that seriously. I think this is you guys at the Golden Globes. That is not how winners behave.
That was the last Golden Globes,
Yeah.
remember? And we got in front of the press, and we weren't even nominated anymore. We were there just because it was our last season, and the press so didn't care that I said, fuck this, I'm dropping my pants. And then they went, and they still didn't care. They took that picture, look at Sean, he doesn't, nobody cares.
Looking away, whatever. But now, Rob Beckett,
Yes.
you, welcome to the world of show business, working the red carpet at the NTAs.
You didn't bring up my award, though. I was second place in Bath New Comedian of Year 2009. So,
I'm so sorry.
it's not an Oscar or a Golden Globe, but it meant to me a lot of the time. So, runner-up in Bath.
Who came first?
Are you saying barf?
Bath. I knew this was going to happen, Graham. We need an interpreter. In Bath. You know Bath? Near Bristol.
People in Bath are turning, they're turning their cities.
Bath?
Bath. It'll be a long night.
You were on the red carpet at the NTAs with
Yes.
your new friend, Jerry Horner, Spice Girl,
Yeah.
Ginger Spice.
That's great.
Yeah. Did you enjoy working the red carpet with her?
Well, it's interesting doing the red carpet because when you're walking the red carpet with a Spice Girl, no one cares about you whatsoever. To the point that the photographers go, get out of the photo, Rob! Get out of the way, because if they get more money for one of her, I actually devalue a photo. If I'm in it, they're earning less money. So I just stand there now and go, how much? How much to get out the photo?
Hey, big film tonight is Lady Bird. Lady Bird. It's out 23rd of February. And, like, so this was always meant to be a kind of an art house, kind of indie film.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, defied all expectations. It's a big hit in America.
I know, it's mad. It's done so well. It came out in November, and it was a tiny little film. It's Greta Gerwig who did Frances Ha and Mistress America, and you know, really great films, but very small films, and sort of within the industry, people really respected her. But this has become this big sort of commercial hit, and just I don't know, just the way young people in particular have reacted to it is amazing. Like girls coming up to you kind of going, oh, I feel like somebody gets me now, you know. Oh. So it's really nice. Yeah, everyone's calling their mum after the film because they feel so guilty about being horrible to them when they were younger.
And I like the story, you know, the movie's doing gangbusters in America. It's doing really well.
Yeah.
And then your mom arrives in America and wants to go and see it.
Yeah, so yeah, she really wanted to go and see it, and she was really proud and had heard it was doing really well and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, Mum, it's doing really well, let's go see it with a real audience. It's probably going to be sold out, but we'll just go and see if we can wingle our way in there. So I got us tickets to like a 4 o'clock screening or something like that in LA. I was like, keep your head down. There's posters everywhere. It's been sold out. You know, the film's doing well, all that sort of stuff. We go into the cinema. There's a total of 6 people in there, all on their phones. Nobody was interested at all. I was like, just keep your head down, keep your head down. We go to the back, and there was this girl that was like texting for the first 10 minutes of the film. I was like, get off your phone. Then her friend turns up late for the film, but she loved it. She loved it, and I think the other 6 people loved it.
They probably all texted the mates going, the girl from the film's in the cinema!
Trying to spell it.
Yeah.
Give me a Scrabble bag.
The scheme is here. Listen, we've got a clip from Lady Bird. This is a great scene. It's you and your mom played brilliantly by Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah.
Also, she's also been nominated as well.
Yeah, she got nominated, yeah.
Excellent. And this is the two of you at the beginning of the film having the argument in a car.
Yeah.
I want to go where culture is, like
How
New
in the world
York,
did I raise such a
or at least
snob?
Connecticut or New Hampshire, where writers live in the
Get into
woods.
those schools anyway.
Mom,
You can't even pass your driver's test.
because you wouldn't let me practice
The way
enough.
that you work, or the way that you don't work, you're not even worth state tuition, Christine.
My name is Lady Bird.
Well, actually, it's not, and it's ridiculous.
Call me
because your
Lady
name
Bird
is
like you
Christine.
said you would.
You should just go to City College. You know, with your work ethic, just go to City College and then to jail, and then back to City College, and then maybe you'd learn to pull yourself up and not expect everybody to do everything.
That's such a great clip.
That's how you do it.
You know, I just remembered you did make it into the show, I think, because there's a scene where you and I are driving. Well, the movie. You and I are driving.
that's right.
And you're driving me to a place I don't want to go to see your family, and I act like I'm calm, and then suddenly I try to get the door open, and she said, "Easy, Lady Bird. I locked the doors." And so this is
That's all I want.
It's there. It's
That's
there.
the only reason I'm here.
Okay.
I love the fact that just give me one shot. Yeah, you made it, and because because it's not a big budget film. Watching it, there was a sense of that you did just throw yourself out of a moving
I did,
car.
yeah. It's honestly a wonder I survived. No, it was. We had a rig around the car, so I
Phew.
could just do a drop and roll.
But it still must be quite scary.
Yeah, well, it was a moving car.
Yeah.
It was a moving car in Sacramento, and there was nobody around except us.
Good luck.
And it was at the end of the film as well, so like they could have just left me there if they wanted to. But no,
And your own mom you've got a great relationship with, but apparently cars are the one place where you and your mom...
We just don't see eye to eye in the car. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like pressure is just immense when you get into the car with someone that you really love. And we get on so well in our normal life, and then we get into the car and something happens. And usually, like, we learn to drive the car at the same time. We share a car. And because of our love of Barbra Streisand, we called it Barbra Streisand. So whenever we're driving Barbara around, she'll give me directions if she's the co-pilot. And she's terrible at it, and she's got a great sense of direction. But when we get into the car, she's just sort of like, right, you're taking the next left, and I'll, check the mirrors, indicate into the left lane, take the left. And she's like, what are you doing? It's like, you told me to turn left. No, I didn't mean that left. I meant the next left, obviously. So we've gotten into like full-blown arguments, but like in the confines of Barbra Streisand.
Then you park Barbara and you're fine.
And then we park Barbara, we get out of Barbara, and we're fine.
Because Rob, you had to drive is it your dad you've had to drive?
Yeah, so my dad was a lorry driver and then a cab driver, so proper, loves a bit of driving. And I'm rubbish at it. I can't get enough of it. He's always driving. And I passed in automatics. I just couldn't get my head around gears. It just stressed me out. And I thought, I'm quite busy. I don't want to change gears. So there's no point having gears. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm rubbish at driving, and I think my dad's slightly ashamed of me that I'm not a proper driver. I picked him up from the hospital. He had like a cataract operation, right? So I picked him up and he's sort of half blind. He's got all the bandages over his head, and I'm just get home, but I can't get into this space. And it was one of the most emasculating things that's ever happened. He gets out, pulls me out of the car, parks it blind. He's sitting there like so degrading. I've never even seen a blind man park a car. It's quite a sight.
So you're 23 now. So
yeah.
The odd thing for you is that because you've grown up being on screen, you've never kind of had to do the awkward teenage thing. You've never had, you know...
I did, but it was on camera. So
I didn't notice it.
Right
we really didn't notice it. I think I can speak freely that we've probably all had, you know, slightly awkward teens. Now, Eric McCormack, you posted this picture, so it's not like I broke into your house and found it. How old were you in this picture?
That was my Bay City Rollers phase. I was 15.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
And
You look 32.
You look younger now.
I think I was
You've grown into yourself.
I hadn't yet figured out how to pluck the center there, so there's still a good amount of hair there. And
who was the guy who played the Incredible Hulk? Was it Lou Ferrigno?
Yes.
There's a whiff of Lou about this.
yes.
And a little David Cassidy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was just about to star in my high school production of Godspell when I did that.
Oh,
yes.
I've never seen such a short fringe, but such long at the back.
So, I know.
So precise.
It's not a mullet.
Well.
You're all being very...
It's more like a Farrah Fawcett flip.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Let's calm down, Deborah, because we've also got a picture of you.
Okay.
And this is I think it's a particularly American thing that some American girls do look about 45. You look like the headmistress.
I mean, that hair, it's got life in it, doesn't it?
That is solid. You could hide pencils in that.
There's a postcode as well by the side.
That's right.
What was that photo for?
That was my high school graduation photo.
Did you think you were supposed to
was
face
Europe.
this way and then the camera's over here?
Oh,
like,
You know, I grew up in rural Rhode Island, and I think that I knew that I had to find some drama in my life. So I think that I felt like, okay,
It looks like he's at
I'm
Russia.
here.
Perfectly lit as well.
Yeah.
The school did an amazing
They
job.
did, right?
Because that's more than one light. Like there's a bit here and a bit here. And,
Oh, yeah. They went all out in East Greenwich, Rhode Island.
Yes. I feel in Lewisham they didn't. Here's Rob. That's just one light.
I mean, I understand there's a lot of questions. I like to refer to these as the bad years. I think. Well, I think that... I know what that is. So I'm 15 years of age. I'm on an Easter egg hunt that I'm too old for, let's be honest. I've absolutely demolished the hunt, though, to be fair to me. I've caned them. Yes.
There's a lot of children over here crying.
It currently feels like an anxiety dream. It's awful, isn't it?
Taking it back.
Yeah, so I just smashed the Easter egg hunt. It looks like police evidence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In the bag. And then the hair, the glasses.
I mean, let's talk about the fringe. You were talking to him about the fringe?
Yeah.
I mean, we're the same age in those photos.
Yeah. Maybe we could...
It's different times.
Who made it in Hollywood, is it? Let's put a bet on those two photos next to each other. The Easter egg hunter, the Easter egg serial killer.
Yeah.
And that fringe.
Well, Eric looked like a porn star.
Ladies and gentlemen, Will and Grace is back. Yes. There they all are. It's showing here on Channel 5 every Friday at 10 o'clock. And, I mean, it's one of those things, you know, we knew it had been away, but then you hear 11 years. Was it really 11 years? And the method of it coming back is so bizarre. So no one was talking about it coming back. There was
No.
So go on.
No. You know, I had been campaigning for Hillary Clinton, and we were talking about trying to help her, and then it turned out that our entire set had been stored pristinely on the college campus of our executive producer for 10 years.
Emerson College in Boston.
Emerson College. And then they got a call and said, we need you to move the entire set to storage. We need to do some fixes. And so he realized, I have the entire set of Will and Grace. Maybe there's something I can do with it. And that's when he wrote the four of us and said, maybe, would you guys want to do a 7-minute little film on YouTube to try and help Hillary? And within 10 minutes, all four of us had said yes. And we came back and we did it, and we really thought it was going to be just a one-off. And we said goodbye, and we were like, oh my God, how lucky. 10 years later, we got to play with each other again. And then, you know, 7.5 million views, and they were like, wait a second.
Amazing.
Maybe.
Max flew the entire set, piece by piece, across the country at his own expense. It was really expensive. And we did this thing entirely in secret. Nobody knew, except our few crew members. And even the people
nobody knew.
Even the people that showed up that night, it was an invited audience of about 100 people, weren't told what they were about to see. And when the curtain parted and it was that set and the four of us in costume, it was very awesome.
It was incredible.
And because it came from a pro-Hillary place, when Trump won, did that put you off bringing it back?
I was like, okay, well, 10 minutes didn't work. What about if we do a whole season?
That was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Weirdly, it's still more rough than ever. It's embarrassing to be here from America at the moment, but refreshing. Nice to be here. But the idea that if Hillary had won and we could have taken some small credit, we just if we had come back, it would have been just a fun comedy show.
Yeah.
But now it feels like we're the resistance somehow.
And in terms of, you know, restarting it, kind of rebooting it, how much discussion was around, you know, because you ended up in that last episode, you know, you ended up in a very different place to where you started this series.
Oh yeah, we had kids. It was 25 years in the future, and then we're like, well, how are we going to do this? And they're like, oh, you're not going to have kids. It never happened.
They wrote the first
like,
scene of
what?
the first series is or the 9th series, which just started here. Basically, we wrote the whole thing off as a dream. Because the idea of Will and Grace having kids and making the whole show about that was like, can we just be gay? I don't want to be parents.
And listen, we've got a clip. This is from next week's episode. And this is the two of you discovering that you're sharing more than an apartment.
Yes.
You two didn't know about this?
You told me not to tell.
I meant don't put it on Instagram. The two of you live together. What have you been talking about for the past 3 days? Shows we watch? But now that we all know what we know, we know.
Sure do.
Goodbye, Will. I had a lovely night with you. And Grace, an equally lovely night with you the night before.
And that's, am I right, that's Megan Mullally's...
That's Megan Mullally's husband. Yeah. So now we've all had him.
And of course, huge success. And then you had all those incredible celebrities and, you know, star cameos and things. Because, I mean, you were in scenes with Madonna, which...
And she didn't even know who I was.
That's
I heard that. Is that true?
It's true.
It's true.
Or me. So she came in late to the first read through. She kept her sunglasses on. And she sat down, and she sort of talked like that. I think it was sort of a vaguely Sacramento accent. I'm not sure. And she said, I'm so not sorry, I'm late. And then she started reading the script. And at one point, she said, listen, Jack, which one's Jack? And Sean went, hi, Sean Hayes, played Jack McFarlane. Hi. And so at the end of the week, and most of her scenes were with Megan, but every day she went to Debra and to and she said, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
And finally, I was like, this was when she was really into Kabbalah. And I said, oh, I'm Rachel. And she went, Rachel? That's my Kabbalah name. And I was like, how about that? And literally for the rest of the week, she called me Rachel. And that night, we always have a tradition where we hug and kiss each other right before we go on. And he said, okay, have a good show, Deb. And Madonna turned to him and was like, her name's not Deb, her name's Rachel. And that's when he informed her that my name was Deborah. And the next day, after the whole episode was over, I got 6 dozen roses that said, "Dear Deborah, thank you for a great week, Madonna."
So same thing, on the Friday, we've been rehearsing for 3 days, she said, I'm sorry, I remember it. I said, this is the 3rd time. I said, my name is so easy to remember. It's the one at the very, very beginning of every single episode of the show you're on. And she went, oh, sorry. So same thing, I got a giant box of roses with a card that I just found the other day, I thought I'd lost it, which said, if my husband would let me, I'd tattoo your name on my arm. Love, Madonna. So all's forgiven. All's forgiven.
Well, my thing was...
You've opened up a rift.
My thing was shit.
Well, you've seen pictures of Madonna lately. It's got Rachel right there.
And now, were you responsible, Eric, for getting Elton John on the show?
Well, yeah. So I mentioned my high school production of Godspell. You know who starred in it with me in 1979 was David Furnish. We grew up together outside
good trivia, everybody.
Outside Toronto. So when we lost touch for a number of years, but when I finally ran into him again, I was like, I'm dating a girl. I think I'm going to marry her. And he's like, great. I'm dating Elton John. And so we got to know Elton a little bit, but never really close. And there was one day, David phoned, and this is before Elton did the show, and he said, I'm in town. And my wife said, have him come over to the house. I said, come over to the house for dinner. He said, okay, we'll be there at 8. I said to my wife, he said we. I think Elton John's coming to our house for dinner. And sure enough, they show up, and they're both in like velvet tracksuits, and they sit down, and I'm trying to be cool. We have dinner. There's the 4 of us. My kid is like 6 months old, and we have a new piano that I can barely play. But I had just enough wine at one point that I said to Elton, you know you're going to have to christen the piano. And he got up, and he walked into the next room, and he sat down. And he looked up at me and said, what would you like me to play? This is my moment, because I want him to know, I'm not going to say Rocket Man like some schmuck. So I said, I've seen that movie too, from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And he looked up at me and said, oh, fuck off, I don't remember that song. So he came on, he was himself, and it was such a funny scene.
It was amazing.
Now, talking of hanging out with big musical stars, Ed Sheeran, the Galway Girl video.
Yeah.
So how did that happen, Saoirse? Did you know him already?
No, I didn't know him, but we have a lot of mutual friends. Friends from Suffolk, which is where he grew up, and friends in New Zealand and things like that. And I was out one night, I was out with my friend in London, and the casting agent who was casting for the video just emailed me and said, here, do you want to be in an Ed Sheeran video? And I was like, yeah, all right. And it was going to be on my birthday, 12th of April, just so you know. And I did it, and it was brilliant. And he filmed the whole thing. He had like a camera on a rig, and we just ran around Galway for an entire night. And he had like, because he's huge everywhere, but he's beloved in Ireland. Like, everyone loves him so much. And so all of Galway just, like, followed us around from place to place.
But the tattoo in the video, the Galway grill...
Yeah.
So that he really did get...
Quite right about that.
He got that really tattooed?
He did, yeah.
But that's your handwriting?
That's my handwriting.
Wow. So you wrote it on him? And did you
I wrote it, no, I was very, very nervous about it, so I practiced for about half an hour before they actually tattooed it on.
And that's what you came up with?
I can't change it.
To be fair, the state of his arm, he ain't kicky, is it?
Yeah, no. No, it was...
You did better than that.
What is that, actually? I don't know.
That's that from a nightclub.
I went out the night before.
Did you mean to do the bad spelling?
No, it wasn't my idea to do the bad spelling.
Oh,
I've been saying to people at his gig that I just misspelled the word girl, but I didn't. The tour manager in Dublin, we had a few drinks during the show, because he did 2 shows in Dublin after we did the music video. And the tour manager was gone by, and he was like, You know what would be gas? If you misspelled the word girl and tattooed something else onto him. And so we did Galway Grill instead, and they got a tattoo artist to come in at like 12 o'clock at night to Dublin.
Oh my God.
During a birthday party that was being had in town, and this
You can't get good ones that time of night, though, can you?
No.
Yeah, the emergency ones tend to be not so good.
You know, the locksmiths that come out with like, they just kick your door in.
But he came in and he was terrified, like this poor fella was having to like tattoo onto Ed Sheeran's arm. Oh, God. With the arm that he plays the guitar with, so...
He must have been I've been told to spell it wrong.
Now, was there a Galway Grill that actually benefited from this thing? Or is it, I mean,
Probably is
like
now.
There probably is now.
not
It's a thing now. It's a thing now.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Now, talking of working with ginger musical icons...
Well, that is the greatest segue.
Good lady. Good lady.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Who knew that we'd have two of them? Spice Girls, Jerry Horner. Now, so did you have meetings with Jerry beforehand? How does it work?
Well, we were supposed to meet up for a cup of tea, but then it never happened because it was quite a short time between she was confirmed to do it and we started filming. So I met up with her at the studios when we was filming it. But she's amazing. She's so lovely.
But have you broken it to her that growing up now, she wasn't your favourite?
Well, she was.
She was my... Yeah.
She was my favourite,
Yeah.
you know.
OK.
She was my favourite. No, she was my favourite, but I dressed up as Baby Spice for a school assembly at primary school because I was the blonde one. And there was a ginger kid in the class, and I couldn't nick Ginger Spice off him. All he had. Sure, it hadn't been invented.
So we got the egg hunt picture, but we didn't get the Baby Spice picture.
I know, I'm gutted. I was saying to the researcher, did we get that?
No, I was quite cute when I was about 8. It was 15, it all went wrong. So that's the worst thing lot, I think, the Easter egg hunt.
Because, Deborah, did Ginger Spice do great things for redheads all over the world?
I don't know. Did she?
I don't know.
You know what? In America, redheads on television, it's equated with being funny. Like, I Love Lucy, Carol Burnett.
Right.
And so
you?
I was a dark auburn, and when I got my first comedy, my TV show, they were like, "Oh, you got to make your hair redder." And I was like, "Well, why?" And they're like, "It's funnier."
It's more clown-like.
And I was like, Ronald McDonald? Like, what are you talking about? So I guess that's the rule in America.
Well, Rob's new show with Jerry is this new singing competition, All Together Now. It's Saturday nights, BBC One, 7:15. And we're 2 weeks in. It's going really well. And it's a really... Well, I just think it's a very kind of big-hearted show.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a lovely watch. So, talk us through the premise.
Well, it's not like another singing show. It's more of a game show with singing in it. And there's, instead of, like, the classic 2 or 3 judges, there's 100 judges made up of people that have worked in the music industry, and they're all characters in their own right, and they're all mic'd up. So when there's someone singing, you can hear what they're thinking and saying during the performances. Jerry's in there. She's sort of the leader of them. And then when someone comes out, they start singing, and then if they like it, the judges, they stand up and join in and sing along. And if they don't, they stay seated. Stay seated. I mean, I've already got the PR patter down, have I? I learned the word seated. They stay seated. And then I come out and tell them what score they got. And the thing is, I really take the mickey and mess about, which doesn't normally happen. So, you know, it doesn't happen on those sort of talent shows, which is so much fun. It's really, like, warm-hearted and silly. It doesn't take itself too serious. And it was a joy to make.
No, it looks like it was fun. This is a
Do you
clip...
know what, I say this, I knew it was decent because all the camera crew were enjoying it. And I've not seen cameramen smile for about 15 years.
Someone.
Just about.
Yeah. This is a clip of Tomorrow Night Show, and it's kind of the end of a performance. Well, you'll see. You'll see.
Oh, yes! Oh, my God! Sorry. You're right, buddy.
I think I'll just take the stairs next time. Lily. Lily, let's be honest, you stood up for everyone so far. Do you know you don't have to, you can just...
No, I understand the premises of the game.
Absolutely burned! Very lovely.
Who's she? Who's Lily?
Lily Lily is from Romania and now lives in the East End and sings Cockney songs in a local pub. Wow. And she's amazing, and her and Jerry got on so well, it was sort of freaky. And that's good because you get all the little snippets of conversation of just Jerry chatting to all these people. It's great.
And the running around...
Yes.
I just think, if I was you, I'd have gone, no, I won't be doing that.
We're at different points of our career, Graham. You know, give me a few years, I might ask for some help up and down the stairs.
I'll have a chair right there.
Can I have a stair lift? Is that no, it's fun. It was pretty tiring. But I've done proper jobs. So I used to work at a flower market. So chatting to people about a song ain't a killer on my feet. Yeah. I actually sold you a bag of compost. No. At Columbia Road Flower Market.
Oh my God.
I worked there from 14, and I remember seeing you, and I sold you a pot. I think I actually carried it for you. You gave me a tip.
Thank God.
No. Imagine that.
Always tip, ladies and gentlemen. This could happen. Yeah.
It's Graham Norton.
Well, I think that's the only bag of compost I've ever bought. I even sort of remember it.
Yeah, that was my first job, selling bags of shit in the street. So in the morning in East London, brutal. Absolutely. They want a bag of shit. A bag of shit out here, 2 for a £5. I'll carry it to your car for 50p.
So running up shiny stairs.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's quite good exercise.
Yes. Yeah. But is it weird being recognised now?
Well, it's weird in South East London because it's quite rough. So the same look you get where someone thinks you're famous is the same one they look at you with if they want to chin you. Sort of just like that.
Listen, it's time to meet our music act tonight, and this is a real treat. This singer shot to fame as the bearded woman in The Greatest Showman, for which the soundtrack album has broken all records. Here performing the Oscar-nominated This Is Me, it is Keala Settle.
A stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. We are warriors. gonna send the flood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching out to the beat I drum. Marching, marching, marching. This is me.
Incredible. Thank you so much. Really, come and say hello, darling. Keala Settle, everybody. That's all back here. Good to meet you. Lovely to meet you. That was stunning. We haven't had a reaction to a performance like that in ages. That was amazing.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there was a good reaction.
I counted 100 standing up. You smashed it.
Seriously, fantastic. And that, of course, is from the soundtrack of The Greatest Showman.
Yes.
And that is out now. And, of course, one of the next times you'll be performing that will be at the Oscars
I know,
with Saoirse.
I saw Saoirse here and I went, sorry, darling, you have to hear this another time on March 4th. How about whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And how does that happen? I mean, when do rehearsals start? How,
no comment.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
get fired from the Oscars if I give you any information.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I do get to sing at it.
Oh, that's presumably that.
It will be.
Did she win?
I can't give you that information. I'll still get fired.
So listen, this is a really special thing. Here you are in this movie, the soundtrack's going well, you're at the Oscars, but this was never meant to happen. So how did you end up in the film? Tell us your story.
Oh, it's Hugh Jackman's fault.
Okay.
It's all Hugh Jackman's fault. I was successfully hiding from the world in New York City for about 25 years. And so, because the hustle is the hustle when you're on a Broadway show, you always book a show and then you try and find another one. And they were trying to find a bearded lady for a reading of The Greatest Show on Earth, which is what it was called at the time. And, oof, there we are. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. How much is it? Great, I'll pay my rent. Go ahead, hand it over, I'll do it. And then I ended up doing it 2 more times. And the last time ended up being the green light that Fox gave for us to do it.
And you were in the room and...
Yeah, I did it. And it was the first time that they had heard This Is Me. It was actually one of the last 2 songs written for the film. And it was written a week before that whole thing. And they said, do you want to sing it? I said, absolutely not. Find somebody else, and I'll sing soprano or alto. Just go find somebody else. And the story goes with my director. He said, what will it take for you to do this? I said, you buy me a bottle of Jameson, I'll do it. He showed up the next day with them little black liquor bags that you get in New York City, pulled the bag down, and there was my bottle of Jameson. I was like, dang it! So I did this all.
You're cheap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did it simple.
I think you need a new agent, if I'm honest with you.
Simple, you know.
Let's ask for a case.
Budget. I had no idea what the budget was.
Listen, we've got a little surprise for you, because somebody heard you were on the show, and a very famous Australian sent you this message.
No.
Yes.
Hi, Egg. Hi, hope you're having a great time there with Graham. I'm sure you are. Hi, Graham. So, I've got one little message for you, because you took this song through 4 workshops. You crushed it so well, it became an anthem for many, many people around the world. You sing it so well that you got yourself nominated for an Oscar and topped the charts in a lot of countries. And I have 4 words for you, Keala. It's all your fault.
No, it's not!
How did you know he was going to say it's all your fault?
Because I tell him that. I mean, I told you when I first sat down, it is his fault. This is the only reason why I was in this film was because of Hugh Jackman and Hugh Jackman alone. And he continued to believe in me when I refused to
fought so hard to not believe in myself. And he said, oh, stuff that. Come on, let's go.
And just, I should mention, in this country, The Greatest Showman has taken on another new life.
Yeah.
They're doing these special sing-along.
I know, I'm so glad they're finally here.
Good luck singing along with that. But,
but here's what happens. You go into these sing-alongs, and some people go by themselves, because obviously they're going, well, I'm the only person in the world that's going to watch this for the 9th time. And then they go into these sold-out theaters going, oh, that person's been here for the 6th time, and you don't know them. But by the time the music starts, you become best friends, and all of you are dancing whatever you want to dance and singing whatever you want to sing within the film. And it's,
oh my God.
That song will be butchered at karaoke for years.
They all will. They all will.
Well, it starts here around the country on the 23rd of February. I'm so pleased for you. It's fantastic. What a great story and what a great performance. And good luck to both of you at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Keala Settle, everybody. But before we go, just time for a quick visit to the big red chair. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Graham.
Hi. What's your name?
My name's Debbie.
Debbie, lovely. And where are you from, Debbie?
I'm from Kent.
Lovely. And what do you do down there?
I'm an airline cabin crew member.
Ooh. Can you tell me which airline it is?
No.
Ooh. Well, that's good. Or maybe it reflects on the story. I'll go with your story.
OK. Well, it happened 30 years ago, almost. My youngest daughter was a baby, just a few months old, and she was still being fed in the night. So my ex-husband had a particular aversion to breast milk for some peculiar reason. Anyway, she woke up in the middle of the night, and I got her out of her cot, took her into bed with me, rested her in that arm, feeding her nicely. The right side started to leak profusely and was squirting all over his face, and woke him up, and he went, get it off me. And I thought, well, not a very nice reaction. So the next day, I made him a lovely apple crumble with some very special...
I know ex-husband. He was so like ex-husband. Yeah.
And then the marriage went tits up.
If you'd like to join us on the show and have a go in that red show, you can contact us via our website at this address. Sadly, that is it for tonight. Please say a huge thank you to my guests, Keala Settle, Rob Beckett, Debra Messing, McCormack and Saoirse Ronan. Join me next week with singer-songwriter Camila Cabello, brand new Lara Croft, Alicia Vikander, rising British star Daniel Kaluuya, and from I, Tonya, the Oscar-nominated Alison Janney and Margot Robbie. I'll see you then. Good night, bye.
There's tons of great movies available on BBC iPlayer. Have a look. Birdman on there right now. The Oscar-winning drama starring Michael Keaton as an actor pinning all his hopes on a Broadway play. Next year, though, comedy. Meet BBC Three's The Young Offenders.